Anyway, today I'm going to talk about more things that scared me as a kid. Daphne here, Christina Submarine the Bell. So I've done a couple of these videos in the past few years, and I kind of wanted to do this again in October because I did one last year in October, and I kind of consider this kind of like a Halloween special series, and I kind of wanted to talk about it. So yeah, let's get started. So the first one I want to talk about is the gorilla from SpongeBob. So I mentioned a couple other SpongeBob episodes on these lists before, mainly the one with the butterfly. But this one is way more scarier in my opinion. And I just feel like the reason why I was so scared of it is because with SpongeBob, yeah, it did have some of those like weird close-ups, but it was mostly related to their world. But the fact that there was this gorilla that was just underwater, it comes out of completely nowhere. And it's just like, it's so surprising, like when I first saw it, and I was terrified. And I think it's just because it was so clearly a guy in a suit, and like it just didn't belong in this animated world. And I kind of do like at the end that they broke the fourth wall, and I actually caught that later in my life that I'm just like, oh, okay, that's really funny.
What's a gorilla doing underwater in the first place?
Well, it's funny you should, George, they're onto us!
Let's get out of here.
But yeah, so the gorilla from SpongeBob, I think was way scarier than the butterfly. And even with the butterfly, I was pretty scared. So it's just so kind of weird how many weird things SpongeBob seasons had like that, especially with the earlier seasons, like seasons 1 to 3. So number 2 is the Thriller music video. So I'm a big fan of Michael Jackson. Like, I love a lot of his music, and I think he has some of the most consistent music ever. Like, it's just like he has so many good hits. But I remember seeing the Thriller music video like 10 years ago now. I was around 11 or 12 years old. And it was kind of scary because, like, with Michael Jackson back then, like, I always thought of him as this innocent guy, which that's up for debate with the allegations. Just the fact that they did a lot of this werewolf makeup on Michael Jackson with the Thriller music video. And honestly, like, I've never really been scared of werewolves like that, not that much. Usually I was more scared of like clowns and stuff like that. But with werewolves, just the way that they did it, and especially at the very end of the music video, where it just zooms in on Michael Jackson's face, and the Vincent Price laugh, which is iconic. It's kind of cool that that is Vincent Price's laugh. So number 3 is Sonic.exe. So I remember seeing these EXE games like way back in like 2012, 2013. Looking back at it now, especially with Sonic.exe, like, it was just trying to be so edgy. Like, back then I thought it was terrifying because with Sonic, like, I mean, I was way more of a fan of Mario, but I did play Sonic occasionally. But, like, I just kind of didn't like back then when, like, people would turn innocent kind of properties into creepy and terrible things. So, like, when I first saw the Sonic.exe, and I believe I saw it when Markiplier first played it, looking back at it now, just the screamers were so forced, and that's with a lot of the .exe games, is that the screamers just came completely out of nowhere with no build-up and just no purpose. Now, I know that some of like the greatest jump scares of all time kind of don't have build-up.
Sally, I hear something. Stop.
But if you just throw them in there like lazily, like, it'll show it. But yeah, I just feel like Sonic.exe was very scary to me because, like, I never played the game itself, but I did react to it with other people playing it, because that's kind of like a weird kind of coping mechanism whenever, like, I was scared of something, especially on the internet, that I would see other people play it and it would make me calm down a little bit. I don't know, it just kind of was, like, easier that way. So yeah, Sonic.exe was pretty scary, but it's kind of aged bad. Number 4 is the Tusken Raiders. So I mentioned a Star Wars moment, I believe it was the Rancor, and I think it was maybe the first video of the series, but like, the Rancor was not the only scary thing that Star Wars had, and this is not the last one on here either. But Tusken Raiders, it's not really the look. I mean, the look is kind of scary, but, like, it's mainly the yell and, like, how weird they sound. Every time I saw them, especially with that kind of jump scare in A New Hope, where, like, I believe it's, like, Luke or someone looking through like the goggles and it just appears out of nowhere. That scared me. Or the one thing that really made me scared was like the audio and like what they sounded like. So something about the yell just seems unsettling. Like it doesn't seem like it comes from a human. So number 5 is the Were-Rabbit from Wallace and Gromit. So it's kind of weird because Wallace and Gromit, like I grew up with it a lot, especially this movie. I live in the Midwest, so it's a little bit weird that I grew up with kind of like a United Kingdom property. But I love Wallace and Gromit. I still do to this day. Like I just really think it's so kind of charming, and it's just I think it's a really fun show. And I remember when I first saw the movie on DVD, I really liked it, but the scene where Wallace turns into the Were-Rabbit scared me. And I think the reason why it scared me is because like the Michael Jackson one, like even though the Were-Rabbit was way less kind of like scary and intimidating compared to the Michael Jackson one, it still kind of felt scary because like the way they did it with the stop motion, like it just like they really did a good job of like transforming Wallace into the Were-Rabbit. I just think that the transformation itself scared me because it was just unnatural movements and like not human, and I think that's why it scared me. So number 6 is Herobrine. So Herobrine was terrifying back when I was younger, and I think the reason why I was so scared of him is because like it wasn't really confirmed whether he was real or fake. I always tried to spawn Herobrine even though I was terrified of him, but looking back at it now, it's kind of funny that all he was, it was just wide eyes and he would just troll your game. Like if I saw that same thing now, I don't know if I would be as scared. Like it's just kind of crazy that it wasn't really confirmed. And it's actually kind of funny that the updates, that the patches that they would do, they say fix Herobrine or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but they would mention Herobrine in it. So like I just really think it's funny that creators kind of went along with it and kind of made some humor out of it. So yeah. Number 7 is the Wampa from The Empire Strikes Back. So The Empire Strikes Back is a very dark movie compared to like the other Star Wars movies. There's not really a happy ending. So like I remember seeing it for the first time, and it was I believe the Wampa was on Hoth, and like I just really was scared of like the puppets. Like I don't know if it was an animatronic or not, but like something about it was just huge, and it kind of reminded me of like the Abominable Snowman from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like that type of thing. Like it was just like these big monsters that just would hide cleverly and then attack when the moment's right. So it's just like I really did not like it. And when Luke got knocked out, and then like especially in the special edition, which is one of the few editions of the Star Wars trilogy that I actually liked, is like you got to see more of the Wampa, and he wasn't really that hidden. But sometimes I feel like the fact that it was hidden kind of made it more scarier. But like it is cool that you get to see like it actually like chewing on the kind of like remains. Like that's pretty scary. It's just Star Wars had a lot of crazy stuff, especially with like the puppets and like the kind of like older effects for all these movies. So number 8 is the Candle Cove Screaming episode. So this was more of a recent one, probably like 2015, 2016. And I remember reading Candle Cove, and I was kind of into creepypastas back then. Candle Cove is a really good story, and I still really like it. Like in terms of like creepypastas, it's easily one of the best ones. And I think the reason why it's so good is because there's a lot of plausibility that it was real. There's this part of the story that says that there was an episode, all it was just screaming. Like screaming of like different people, weird images would flash. And there is a YouTube video that is on YouTube that like tries to emulate it. And I think I am going to show it because like I just kind of want to show like a preview of what it would have been like. So this might be bad for headphone users, but boom. Yeah, so that's a screaming episode that a lot of the story kind of mentions. And it's just like, it's very kind of weird because like, I used to be scared of this specific video, but nowadays, like, it's just kind of weird imagery just for the sake of being weird. Candle Cove, like, I just think as a story, it's amazing, but some of the things are a little, like, dated in terms of, like, how people want to be scared by it with the YouTube videos, so. Number 9 is Five Nights at Freddy's 4, like, in general. So, I know that Five Nights at Freddy's, I mentioned it in a few videos, like, I actually played the first game a few months ago. Probably my least favorite game in terms of, like, being scared is Five Nights at Freddy's 4. And I think the reason why it's so scary, and I still am pretty scared of it, is because, like, you don't really have that many ways to protect yourself from the animatronics. Like, at least with the, like, the first few games, you have, like, the doors and stuff like that. But, like, it really is scary that all you have is just a door, or the 2 doors on each side, and then you have the closet, and then you have your flashlight, and I think that if you turn over, it'll be on the bed. But, like, I just feel like that was so scary, and, like, you really didn't have, like, any time to react to the jump scare. Like, it just kind of happens. Like, especially when, like, you think you're in the clear with, like, looking down the hallway, but you just have to wait those few seconds, and if something happens, well, you're dead. So I still actually think Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is very underrated in how scary it is, because I just feel like it's the scariest for me by a long shot in terms of, like, the first few games, so. And number 10 is the face melt from Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, Raiders of the Lost Ark is my favorite Indiana Jones movie. Back in the 80s, like, the PG rating really didn't mean that much in terms of, like, gore and stuff. Like, they just got away with a lot back then. And, yeah, so there's a scene where, the Nazis are about to open the Ark of the Covenant, and they open it, and it doesn't end well for them. Like, it's such a gruesome scene. It looks fantastic still today. And I'm like, that's why practical effects, I feel like, are always gonna age better compared to CGI. Because, like, you really had to work a lot harder to get those effects. And they just look way better, mostly without a computer. So, yeah, it's just, like, practical effects like the face melt. Especially for, I don't remember the guy's name, but the guy who was played by Ronald Lacey, rest in peace. That guy really got it with, like, the face melting. And actually, the Belloc actually got it easier because his head just exploded. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is my first video that I've done in a long time, but I kind of wanted to talk about this. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.